You know, I think it's fair to say Marvel is running out of steam, and an overall lack of direction for what it's trying to achieve in these post-Endgame phases. Among the recent Jonathan Majors controversy and uncertainty, it seems that even the one overarching story of the MCU, Kang and his army of Kangs, well, an army who can so easily be defeated by, checks notes, ants, seems to be going the way of some poor geezer running to Tommy Lee Jones, giving an alien its yearly physical. That being, I'm gonna need you to look into the red light right here. Yep, nothing to see here, am I right, Kevin? But to land it all on the failure of the shortest dynasty in known literature, from the MCU's Kang, it seems Marvel has been the author of its own downfall. Mediocre scripts, directors with both too much free reign, and some with zero creative input outside of what King Kevin sees funny.
Yeah, come at me, bro!
Hilarious, Kev. Really funny content there, mate. With Guardians enjoying their final swan song, and while a fitting departure to a staple of the MCU, it appears to have stood as an epilogue to the MCU's glory days, as opposed to the revitalization that is so needed. So, what is going to be Marvel's next big cinema release to lure its wavering and fading audience back in? The Marvels. Can the Marvels bring back the MCU to the front of public thought? Bring Marvel back to the glory days of some of the greatest cinematic sequences seen, and fandom that spawned the world. Commitment that was there for the better part of a decade. Well, you'd be forgiven for saying, the Marvels sure as shit, ain't it? Or could it be? Well, no, it can't. Come on, let's all be real here. But it's not to say it can't still work to some degree. So, what is the Marvels? Coming to cinemas in November this year, The Marvels creates one of the most exciting team-ups of the MCU. Yeah, that's not it, is it? The Marvels brings together the ever-popular Captain Marvel, fronted by the warming presence of Brie Larson, who is joined by TV stars Miss Marvel and Monica Rambeau. I mean, Marvel, you're really not helping yourselves here, guys, with this lineup. Take away the cringe guff of an endgame female boss power assemble. This feels like a lineup that needed some more heavyweight action to really draw people in and hold it together. It speaks volumes that the one character who has their own solo movie in the past now requires two characters. One who was a side character at best, and fledgling Disney Plus shows to help support a cinematic release. So it's fair to say the cast and superheroes on show aren't exactly enticing. It's almost fair to say Marvel is going to play the old, if you don't like this, or spend $30 on coming to see us in the cinema, you must be a sexist pig. Not a great plan.
I like your plan, except it sucks.
So the lineup, frankly, sucks. Can the plot rescue this? Well, from what we know so far from the synopsis and the latest trailer, probably not. Three B-list superheroes have their powers entangled as they find they are the only ones who can save the universe. To be fair, normally I'd say, so what, is Thor busy? Hulk lost in space again? But let's be real, nobody wants to see those two for a while.
Oh, they are beautiful.
Yes, they are beautiful. They also scream quite a lot.
They'll be fine.
Hilarious as always, Tiger. Cheers for love and thunder, mate. So we have a mediocre plot and a superhero lineup that would have even the most die-hard MCU fans sighing. As such, is there any hope for the Marvels? Can it work? Well, as an eternal optimist, I think it can. So how? The main thing is, don't be something it's not. Be funny, but don't try too hard. Today's audience have so much content, so humour has to work. There's nothing worse than trying to be funny if you aren't. So don't try it, Brie. Based off the trailer, there does seem to be some good moments of basic but effective humour. A shout out to Iman Vellani's Miss Marvel, who you feel her youthful exuberance and lack of mainstream attention may actually aid in her popularity in this film, as she becomes much easier to warm to, with far less baggage. So yeah, have funny moments, but take note from the cluster bomb of cringe that was Thor Love and Thunder. Don't be funny for funny's sake. Or most importantly, if you aren't funny, don't be funny. Next, be strong heroes, but don't be perfect. And for the love of all that's good, don't let the fact it's a female lineup be the source of the heroism. While not perfect, I really enjoyed Endgame, but fuck my life. That girl power team up nearly made me walk out. Perhaps the most forced message baiting scene in a movie of that size ever. And it nearly ruined the tone completely just for 20 seconds of feminist Twitter gratitude, which I think everyone knows didn't even come. It was just cringe. So be heroes, but show growth, show vulnerability, and show the audience you are heroes for your bravery. Two of these characters are from Earth. Well, three, but two have brought up in Earth. And one's a kid. They should have fear, and as such, they should have a script and direction that allows them to overcome this. Look to the recent box office dumpster fire of Charlie's Angels if you want to see how this works out, if you go with every woman being the toughest son of a bitch in cinema history. The next thing that needs to work is the CGI. Marvel has dropped the ball recently. I mean, the floating head of Heimdall's offspring, the 90s Power Ranger of Ironheart were really tragic. But this lives at the feet of Kevin Feige. He's the one who needs to sort this out, not the overworked artists and animators. Sort out your shop, Kev, and empower and support the key people to bring superheroes to life. They're the real heroes in these flicks. And finally, make it its own thing. Accept these characters aren't world building ones, but they can make a fine solo film. Nobody is going to buy into Monica Rambeau and her ever developing but unspecified power set. She's never going to be a lead Avenger. More so, nobody clearly wants it. So just be comfortable with this being a one-off or a side story to the overarching MCU universe that's been built in these latest phases. And ultimately, don't take yourself too seriously. Accept the appeal of who is going to see this. Young girls and this guy, I suppose. Except this isn't a film for casual MCU fans, and it won't be for ones hoping to see the MCU's next stage. I can guarantee you no one's going to be searching Twitter for a post-credit scene from The Marvels. It's got a limited audience, so play to that, not to Twitter, who won't buy a ticket, or reviewers who don't pay for their tickets. I'd say treat it like Aquaman. This worked surprisingly well, as there wasn't loads of hype. It wasn't universe building, it was just simple, good superhero action. Simple, but a decent enough story, and good leads, and some unreal CGI heavy set pieces that looked amazing on the big screen. Except this isn't going to be a Civil War team up, but for strong, powerful women. This is going to be a side piece for the overriding MCU. But that doesn't mean it has to be bad or even unloved. Some of the best memories you make in life aren't from the big events like weddings, parties, graduations. Sometimes it's that one funny chat you had with a mate on the bus. This is what the Marvels has to be if it's to work. And if you don't take this advice, well, see how Charlie's Angels turned out, as that's what you'll reach. I'm sure Disney stock price will love you for those returns. Ultimately, the issue lies with Disney and Marvel, and the fact we can have zero faith they'll even consider any way to make the Marvels work outside of what they've demonstrated for years. So yeah, the Marvels is going to be just what we expect, let's be honest, and it will continue Marvel on its path to its own mediocre demise. But stranger things have happened in cinema, so maybe the Marvels will save the universe. Don't hold your breath, MCU, though. Don't hold your breath.